My story is from a few years ago when I was a little younger, a little prettier, and a lot more naive. And if you think you know how it's going to end, well, so did I. And I was dead wrong. I got married right out of high school, which, yes, is always a great plan. Spoiler alert, it didn't work out. And I had sacrificed my college years to play the role of housewife to a man who told me that he would love me and take care of me forever. Yeah, like I said, I was naive. By 23, I was divorced, broke, and clueless when it came to what I was going to do for a career. While scrolling through some job listings online, I saw one for a bank teller position and sent in my resume. A week later, I had the position. The majority of my coworkers were also young women, and I was able to make friends quickly, which was nice because getting married so young had me isolated socially. Before long, some of the girls invited me out for drinks after work on a Friday, and I said sure. We went to a little Mexican spot, and everyone ordered one of their signature giant margaritas. We all snacked on way too many chips and salsa and washed it down with tequila. Soon, the conversation and laughter got to that point where other tables would turn their heads and look over at us with that really look, but we didn't care. We spent our days at work, buttoned up and proper. Now was our time to let our hair down. After a while, though, one of the girls, Haley, brought up our bank manager, Ron. The laughter soon stopped. Girl, don't get me started, Haley said, holding one hand out in front of her with the other on her chest, as women do when they're about to spill some tea. I had only met Ron briefly after I was hired and didn't know much about him at all, other than that he was a middle-aged guy who looked like a perfect fit for the role. Tall, with anchorman hair that had way too much gel in it, and a body that hinted that he might have been in shape at one point, a long time ago. But that ship had since sailed. I had seen him walking around in the bank a few times after the initial meeting, but I really didn't have an opinion of him yet. One of my other coworkers, Jasmine, chimed in. You can say it. We all know what you're thinking. He's a creep. Mm-hmm, came a chorus of agreement from the squad. You know he asked me to have dinner with him once, Haley continued. No, he didn't, Jasmine gasped. Girl, yes, let me tell you. I was closing and about to leave for the day, and he came up to me and told me that he had noticed how hard of a worker I was, and that he wanted to treat me to dinner, which, I mean, yeah, if it were anyone else, I'd think, yeah, maybe they're just trying to be nice. But you know how Ron is, always staring at us while we walk away, and trying to play it off and saying inappropriate comments. So I told him that I didn't think my boyfriend would like that very much. I didn't even know you had a boyfriend, Jasmine said. I don't, but he doesn't need to know that. The girls erupted in laughter, drawing eyes from a nearby table. I've just heard a lot of things. Like one of the girls who used to work with him at his last bank had to get a restraining order against him, Haley offered. I don't know if it's true or not, but would anyone be shocked if it were? Everyone at the table nodded along in agreement. I clocked everything I was hearing and filed a mental note about Ron. Fast forward 2 months, and everything had been going pretty well. Work was great, and I was getting to the point where I could save a little money from each paycheck, which took a huge amount of stress off me. I had even gone on a few dates with guys that the girls at work had set me up on. They were fun, but nothing serious came from it. I'd be lying, though, if I said it didn't feel great to get back out there and swim around in the dating pool some, even if I preferred to stay in the shallows for now. Nicole, hey, when you get a minute, can I speak to you at my office? It was Ron. Sure, I replied, wondering if I was in trouble for something. I finished up what I was working on and made my way into his office, which was located in a far corner of the bank, away from the rest of the lobby. Take a seat, Ron offered, sitting behind his oversized desk. I scanned it and noticed a photo of him holding a large fish and another photo of him golfing. No photos of a wife or kids. So I just wanted to let you know that I've been keeping tabs on you, and I really like what I see. He said it while looking directly into my eyes and gave a little half smile at the end. I just wanted to meet with you and see if you'd have any interest in moving up the corporate ladder, so to speak, if a position were to open up. Loan officer, analyst, positions that would be a step up for you both in terms of responsibility, and, of course, pay. Of course, I said. Good, good. That's what I'd hoped to hear. We're always looking to promote from within, and I'm sure you could use the extra money. You're divorced, isn't that right? The question caught me off guard. Yes, that's correct. Same here, same here. Maybe we could get a drink sometime after work. I really didn't know how to respond. I had no interest in him romantically, but I didn't want to screw myself out of a possible promotion at some point. So I decided to be polite but non-committal and said, yeah, maybe, with a forced smile. Without hesitation, Ron said, how's tonight then? Pick you up at 7? What? Tonight? I can't tonight. I already had something planned. Sorry. I lied, scrambling for an excuse and having flashbacks of what my coworkers had said about Ron. I see, he smiled. Another time then. And with that, he stood up and led me out of his office. The rest of the work week moved along without incident. I didn't tell anyone at the bank about the conversation between Ron and myself. I just didn't want anything to get twisted in translation and then get back to him. So I figured playing it cool and quiet was the way to go. For now. The weekend rolled around and I had a glorious Saturday of doing absolutely nothing planned. Until my phone rang. The caller ID showed a local number, so I answered. Nicole, hi. It's Ron. I said nothing for a bit, processing why my manager was calling me on a Saturday. Nicole, are you there? Yeah, I'm here. How can I help you, Ron? Well, I was thinking maybe I could take you out for dinner tonight and talk more about that promotion. I have a lot of experience in this business and know some pretty, shall we say, influential people. You could learn a lot from me. What do you say? Anxiety started to set in now, and I was quickly learning that Ron was not the sort of man to give up easily or to take a hint. That's nice of you to offer, Ron, but I'm not at home this weekend. I'm visiting some family. Now Ron was quiet for a change, before finally saying, Then why is your car out front and your apartment lights on? Fear shot through my veins and my heart rate went up to cardiac arrest level. Are you outside my apartment? Ron gave a nonchalant laugh and casually said, Well, of course. I was hungry and in the neighborhood, so I thought I'd talk a little shop with you and figured you'd be hungry as well. No big deal, though. I can take a hint if you don't want to go. But how do you have my phone number and know where I live? I asked. Did you forget I'm a bank manager, Nicole? All of your personal information is on file at the bank, silly. I didn't know what to say, but I was genuinely afraid. We ended the call, and I called Haley immediately to tell her about my encounters with Ron to see if she thought I was overreacting. Girl, hell no, you're not overreacting. This guy is like twice your age, plus he's your boss. And showing up to your apartment uninvited? Who does that? If it was me, I'd be on the phone with HR or the regional manager first thing Monday morning. You think? I mean, yeah, he creeps me out for sure, but I don't want to blow my chance at a promotion at some point. Promotion my ass. He's probably just stringing you along, promising you this and that so he can get himself a piece of Nicole. I'm not saying you don't deserve a promotion or a raise. You do, girl. But I've been watching how Ron does us ladies in the bank, and it ain't right. I thanked her for the advice and started thinking about what I would do come Monday morning. It rolled around before I knew it, and I still wasn't sure what I should do. I finally decided on the wait-and-see approach, hoping that maybe Ron had taken the hint that I wasn't interested in him. He came through the doors at 9:30, wearing one of his ill-fitting suits as usual, and made his way past us to his office without ever looking in my direction. That's good, I thought. Maybe we'll just let it rest and go back to having a professional working relationship. Things were fine until Wednesday. I was coming back from lunch and getting out of my car when out of nowhere, Ron suddenly appeared. "Nicole, hi. I figured I could just catch you out here away from prying ears inside to let you know that I talked with corporate this morning, and I've got some not so great news. Yeah, our earnings came in pretty light for this quarter, so they're needing all bank managers to make some payroll cuts. Now, I talked them out of completely laying anyone off, but unfortunately, as one of our newer hires, I'm going to be cutting some of your hours back." "Are you serious?" I chirped back. Is this about Saturday?" What happened Saturday?" Ron asked with a look of genuine blankness. "You were at my apartment," I reminded him. "Oh, you mean when I was going to get food at a restaurant that happened to be in your neighborhood and made a generous offer to buy one of my employees, who I know doesn't make much money, something to eat?" "Yes," I replied coldly. "Water off a duck's back," Ron said casually. "Already forgotten in my book. No, this is strictly a decision coming down from corporate, and I do feel terrible about it." And with that, he walked back inside. That was it. My mind was made up. I opened my car back up, got inside, and locked the doors while I Googled the number for our regional manager, who I would quickly find out happened to be a woman. I explained to her what had been going on, how Ron had asked me out for drinks, then dinner, as well as showing up at my apartment unannounced, and now retaliating against me by cutting hours. She listened intently, and by the time I was done, I could hear the compassion in her voice. I felt positive that she had dealt with a lot of the same sexist behavior on her climb up the corporate ladder in a business typically dominated by men. She thanked me for being honest and brave and coming forward with my claims, and promised that she would take them seriously and investigate them. I had Thursday off, but when I returned to the bank Friday, I was greeted by a throng of my coworkers upon entry. All at once, they told me how the regional manager came into the bank Thursday and did one-on-one investigations with the ladies and asked them all questions about Ron's workplace behavior. He had been put on temporary suspension while the investigation was pending. The ladies were absolutely abuzz with excitement that it seemed as though Ron was finally getting his, and I was being treated as a bit of a hero around the office. Things were great at work for the next week with Ron gone, and I felt like I made the right decision to turn him in. But as is often the case, things soon changed. The first mysterious incident was waking up to a flat tire on a Tuesday morning. I put the spare on, drove to work, albeit late, then took the flat tire to a tire shop on my lunch break. "Yeah, that's definitely not from a nail. That looks man-made. Knife, most likely," the tire guy said. Wednesday, I received multiple emails letting me know that someone was trying to change my Instagram password, and soon after I received the same one about my email password. Thursday went without incident, but Friday I got called into our interim manager's office. "Nicole, I know you've been going through a lot lately, and we're all here for you. But this email you sent around the workplace will not be tolerated." I told her I had no idea what she was talking about, and she showed me the email. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. A photo of some male exotic dancers gathered around a group of women grinding on them, only the faces of the women had been replaced with some of the ladies from the office. I looked up to see that the sender of the email was me, my work email address. "Oh, surely you can't think I sent that," I began. Then I thought to show her the notifications from a few days prior about my social media and email being hacked. By the end, she seemed satisfied, but I still noticed a few strange glances from other ladies around the bank for the remainder of the day. Saturday is when the shit really started to hit the fan. There was a knock at my apartment door, which was early enough to wake me up. I looked through the peephole and saw no one, so I opened the door up. There was an Amazon package sitting at my feet with no name or shipping information. I took it inside and gave it a shake. Something rattled around. I knew I definitely had not ordered an Amazon order lately, but I had ordered a few things from eBay that I was not expecting and thought they might have reused an Amazon box to send it in. I opened the box up to see a note sitting on top of a folding knife. I didn't touch the knife, but I opened the note. "You'll need this soon, bitch," it read. I wasted no time and phoned the cops, who promptly sent an officer over to photograph the note and knife and write a report to at least have something on file. I told him that I was 99% sure I knew who sent the threatening package and explained the situation. The officer said he would look into it and was soon gone. I was too shaken up to think about anything else for the rest of the afternoon. So much so that I had forgotten that I had promised a few of the girls at work that I would go out with them that night to a club. My phone rang and it was Haley. "Hey girl, are you about ready to get lit?" she began. I rained on her parade and told her about the note and package and that I wasn't feeling like going out anywhere tonight. She wasn't having any of it. "That's even more of a reason you need to be around your homegirls. Ron ain't gonna do nothing but try to scare you, girl. Now get your ass dressed and be ready in 20 minutes. I'll swing by to pick you up." Maybe she was right, and I needed a distraction to clear my head. Ron was living rent-free in my head at the moment. I put on my sexiest little black dress, not for the attention of any guy, but because it made me feel good. I did a 5-minute makeup sesh and called it good. Soon Haley showed up with a car full of ladies from work, and we were off. The club was packed and the music blasted as soon as we stepped inside. Haley immediately led us all straight to the bar for shots. A cute guy at the bar who looked a little young for my taste made eye contact with me and offered to buy the next round. I declined politely, as I was just looking to have some fun with my girls. But Haley wasn't going to let me be a fly on the wall. "Girl, you look hot as hell. Let that man buy you a drink. He's cute too. Ask him what he does for work. Shoot, you're single with no kids. You're a catch. Get those toes wet and get in the water." Haley was hard to argue with, so I obliged her and accepted the drink and talked to the guy for a while before my phone rang. I looked at the caller ID and saw police department on it. "1 second, I need to answer this," I told the guy at the bar. "Hello? Hi, is this Nicole?" "Yes." "Hello, it's Lieutenant Daniels here with the police. I just wanted to give you a quick update on your mystery package case. The guy you told us about who you thought was doing this, what did that do with his name?" "Ron?" I offered up. "Right, Ron. Well, we sent someone over to his house, and there was no one home. Mail was falling out of the mailbox, yard wasn't mowed. So I gave him a call, and it turns out he has a solid alibi. He went to Europe right after being suspended from the bank, and he's still there. I tracked his phone, and it checks out. Also, we looked up his social media, and it's all him at Big Ben, him at the Eiffel Tower, him at the Roman Colosseum. If he's faking it, he's doing a damn good job." I was speechless. "However, we're still investigating, so if anything else suspicious happens, let me know personally. Until then, I'll be in touch." I thanked him and hung up, not knowing what to make of the information. I walked over to the guy I just met at the bar and told him I needed to go talk to my friends, but that the conversation had been lovely and thanked him for the drinks. Then I made my way over to Haley and whispered in her ear, "It wasn't Ron." "What?" Haley screamed over the thumping club music. "It wasn't Ron. The cops just called and he's been in Europe having a dream vacation, apparently. I need to splash some water on my face. You want to come with me to the restroom?" "Of course, girl," Haley replied. Once inside the restroom, the music wasn't quite so loud, and we were able to understand each other more clearly. "So who do you think it is?" Haley asked. "I guess that's the million-dollar question." I honestly think Ron had planned this out all along and is using Europe as a cover. I mean, all this weird shit started happening right after I told the regional manager about him. It's just way too big of a coincidence. "That's what I'm saying, girl. Don't let that creepy-ass man off the hook that easily. You gotta stay on these police and tell them how sneaky Ron is. Hell, I'll go talk to them as well and let them know the freaky shit he said to me." That made me laugh. Haley was a girl's girl, and I loved her for it. "Hey, I need to pee real quick. I'll catch up with you out there," I said. She hugged me and I went into the stall. I mindlessly pulled out my phone and checked my email for any more notifications about my accounts being hacked as I squatted over the toilet seat when I heard the bathroom door open, followed by a knock on my stall. "That you, Haley? I'll be right out." Then another knock. "Haley? Stop messing around," I said, now less sure that it was her. Then a man spoke. "I'm not Haley." I pulled my underwear up in the blink of an eye as my heart began to race. What do you want?" "I just wanted a second date, but I guess we're past that now." I recognized the voice now. "Michael?" "That's right." His voice sounded maniacal. "We had a great first date. I thought we were a great match. But I guess I'm just a free meal to you. Just someone to buy you a nice dinner and some drinks. Then you acted like I had the plague when I went to give you a goodnight hug. No calls, no text. Like I'm just another disposable guy to entertain you for a night before you move on. Well, it's happened one too many times to me, and I'm sick of it. So I decided to do something about it. Girls like you are why good guys become bad." "But girls like me," I said frantically, still locked in the bathroom stall. "I think you have me all wrong. I'm really not like that. I'm recently divorced and just now getting back around to going out on a few dates. I really didn't mean to make you feel taken advantage of, and if I did, I'm truly sorry. I've just been so busy with work. Busy with work, busy with friends, busy with going to the club. Just too busy doing literally everything else than to answer my calls. No, you're going to pay tonight. This will be one date you won't soon forget." I was in total disbelief. I had gone on one date with this guy who I matched with on a dating app, and apparently he was a psycho. To be honest, I barely remembered him. The date was completely forgettable, but I don't recall being rude to him in any way. It was just one of those dates you go on and then forget. But it seemed to be a different story for Michael. I heard banging on the bathroom door, not on my stall, but on the outside door. Then I heard Haley's voice shouting, "Nicole, you in there?" "Help me," I screamed at the top of my lungs. "Go get help." Within seconds, I heard the bathroom door burst open with other male voices, followed by what sounded like a brawl. Finally, Haley told me it was safe to come out. The bouncers had grabbed the guy known as Michael as he tried to run past them, and the cops were on the way. When they arrived, I told my story to the police, and Michael was arrested on the spot. Haley told me later that I must be a magnet for creepy guys, and I said she was probably right. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for accusing Ron of being the stalker, but then I remembered all the other creepy things he had said and done to me, and that feeling melted away. But for now, there will be no more dating apps, no more little sexy black dresses going out, and no more random dates. Just work and girlfriends, for now, and maybe forever.